New numbers, new area codes, new winters and new summers. More expansion, just think about it and make me wonder. Knocking on the beat like a relapse, I feel it coming. Regular programming on
Welcome to Discussions with Dubb. This is a platform where I sit down with entrepreneurs, creatives, people from all different walks of life and backgrounds to have real conversations. We're going to get into the wins, the losses, everything in between. So the goal is really simple. We're going to highlight authentic stories, possibly inspire others, and just give people a deeper look into the past that shaped your success. So we're going to jump right into the discussion. So for those who may not know you just yet, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Yes. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Risha, owner of Live in Color Studio. I'm an entrepreneur, nail tech, and mother.
Okay. All right. So you have Live in Color Nail Studio, which is actually where we are at this moment.
Welcome.
But before we get into the studio itself, I want to talk about a little bit about your background, where you grew up, what your upbringing was like, and some of your early interests and passions before nail became part of your life. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I went to school in Fremont. When I first graduated high school, I went to school for digital art. So I thought I was going to be behind the computers, behind the camera with you, actually, right? But as I started doing it like more often, I realized I didn't want to be behind the camera too long. So I started doing nails on the side. The nails just kind of took a life of its own. So I do a little bit of everything now, nails and digital arts. But I started doing digital arts first and nail as a hobby.
Gotcha. And what age would you say that was when you kind of like picked up nails?
I remember when I was first licensed, I had just turned 21. So I was about 18 when I first started doing nails. And like I said, I just thought it was going to be a hobby. I didn't actually start working in the industry till I was 21.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, can you give us a little bit more of what kind of intrigues your interest as far as the digital arts and the computer side of things? Where did that come from?
I think I'm just a creative person in general. Like I just love to create. So when I first started doing digital arts, I thought I wanted to do print magazine because I love like making people feel beautiful. That's essentially what I do doing nails. That's the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
So I thought that I wanted to do print magazine and, just a little digital arts here and there. I liked editing videos and, just digital art. So I'm just a creative person overall. And then I just kind of took that and ran with it doing nails.
Okay. And would you say that, so like you've always been a creative person from the jump, like as a kid, or that developed over time?
No, I think I've always been a creative person. I love to most creative people, you can see it in them. Like I love to dance. I love to write. I love to do digital art. I love to do nail art. I love color schemes, everything art related, like anything you could think about art, like books, storytelling, poetry, like those kind of things. I love everything art related. I think it's always been in me.
Okay. So you say it's more internal, absolutely, or is there any like family members or mentors that kind of influenced or motivated that creative side?
Heavily. Like a lot of people on my dad's side of the family, they're artists in general. Like I have some family that's in the music industry. My dad was heavily into music. So I feel like it was born in me, but also the influence of my family was just real artsy. I even had an auntie that used to like make kids books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. and as far as professionally, was there an industry, and if so, what industry was it that before you jumped into the nails at 21? Were you professionally in the creative, in the computer side of things, or were you kind of just doing some?
I think I did a lot of admin work just to, like little jobs just to keep the money on, the money coming when you're young and you want to, I want a new phone. I want to go out with my friends. So I think I just did like a lot of admin jobs, but I knew that I didn't want to sit behind a computer forever. So I had to find something to balance off working behind a computer.
Okay. And you said you jumped into nails at 18, but didn't kind of jump into the industry until 21, right? At what point between those two milestones would you kind of say that you realized this can become an actual career for you?
So my first mentor, the first person that hired me was Tony. I always shout her out. She was a Black-owned nail salon as well in Oakland. Okay. First doing nails, it was like she took me on a whole like different path. So I would sit in the salon and do nails, but she also had like some friends in LA. So we would go and do networking events. Now that I'm remembering, that's actually how I met you. I was actually working with Tonia and she was like, "You want to model for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that's how I ended up modeling for the event where I met you at. But we would do special events. We did like the BET Awards one time where we just sat and did people's nails at the BET Awards. Nice. And I was like, and at that point is when I realized like, oh, I don't have to just sit behind the table. Like it's a whole bunch of other stuff I could be doing. I started making my own polish. I started making my own decals. I started doing more like events outside mobile. And this was like I said, I was only 21. So I was just really exploring and not even knowing that I could make a living off of it for real. Cause I mean, I seen her do it, but you don't see too many other Black women in this industry like really leading.
Right.
So I was like, I could do this.
That's dope. That's dope that you had that close, and not even just a close influence, but the experience behind the
like
influence
direct,
as well.
yes.
Direct,
like I was
hands-on.
shadowing her anywhere she wanted to go. I was like, I'm coming. Like I'm there. So I was shadowing her like between here and LA. I think we even went to New York one time for Fashion Week before I went off and did it myself. So I was shadowing her everywhere just to see like, you know, that's what really got my entrepreneurial spirit going.
Yeah. So when you jumped into this, you really jumped into the deep waters.
Yeah, I think so.
New York Fashion Week, BET Awards, like those aren't some small feats. So I commend you for that. Now, during that process, like, how would you say it was learning the craft in that element? Was it nerve-wracking? Was it exciting? Like a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of everything. When you work with multiple people in this field, like everybody has their own energy, their own character, right? Everybody head is on a swivel, especially when you're in the beauty industry or Hollywood for that matter.
Yeah.
Everybody head is always turning because it's always something to be doing, a camera to be looking at, the next post, the next readings, like how you're reading off a script. Like it's always so much that happens. So it can be like your head can be like spinning sometimes, but it's also exciting if that's the kind of thrill that you're looking for. So my first time going to New York Fashion Week, I remember like, this is so exhausting. We barely slept about like maybe 4 hours the first day that we were there because we hit the ground running, landed, checked into the hotel, packed the stuff, turned around and went straight to work. And then working with so many different models. And like I said, their head is always spinning. Like my head was spinning, but it was fun at the same time.
Yeah, it keeps you moving. So the day essentially will kind of go by fast. But when you look back at it, you're like,
ooh, this is a lot. It's a lot.
You catch a moment to breathe and you realize exactly what you did.
But it's fun because when you see the final product and you see them walking down the runway, especially the models with their straight face and, you know, the nails match the outfit, you're like, okay, I did, like I contributed to that. I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a cool perspective. So with that and that whole process as well, did you feel like you faced any doubts or skepticism when you decided to jump in?
Can I cut some girl? Hey,
absolutely. Come on, it's a real platform. You better talk your shit. Come on now.
No, hell yeah. There's always doubts because you just never know. Like, you never know if you're going to always have the same clients. Sometimes clients fall off. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they just stop getting services. Sometimes they move. And you're like, dang, is it me? Sometimes you might do a bad set. You're like I've been doing so good all the way up until this one bad set. Like, is it me? Do I got to change the things that I'm going? I had so many doubts in the beginning. I would have to call some of my nail tech friends like, yo, I did this on somebody and it's not working. Like, what am I doing wrong? And they would have to tell me like, you know, do X, Y, and Z, like try this. Like you good. You know, sometimes it's like, it's not you, it's the person you working with. So it's always self-doubt. Like And then being an entrepreneur, you never know where your next dollar gonna come from for real. Like, so you always gotta hustle and you always gotta work. So it will be times where I'll be like, do I really want to sit here and like, do I really want to do this? I have to make my own schedule and all. Like, I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. It's always doubts. But I mean, essentially, you just got to keep going to find out. You got to keep going to find out.
Yeah, you won't know until you do it.
Exactly.
Scare money don't make nothing.
Exactly.
So you got to jump into it and make it happen. Okay, so with all that, how would you describe your personal style and approach to the nail artistry?
Oh, that's a good question. Everything about me, I think, is different and unique in the sense that I don't stick to any one code or any one script. I don't just do any one thing. When the name of my salon is Live in Color Studio, little backstory, I was heavily inspired by the Wayans brothers and everything that they do. Even though they had scripts, you could tell a lot of times they went off script.
Absolutely.
So a lot of my clients, when they come here, they say that they want to stick to one thing, but they're like, you know, I kind of want to step a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm that person to take you out of your comfort zone. Okay. You might come in here and you're like, oh, I really want a pink, but you know, something today is telling me that I want to do blue. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do both. So my artistry is taking people out of their comfort zone, but in a way that's still comforting to them. So everything about Live in Color Studio, I want them to be comfortable, but we still taking it a step outside of your norm because we really want to like showcase everything that you have internally on the inside and put it on your outside.
Absolutely. So speaking of Live in Color, what inspired you to open your shop?
Listen, I tell people this all the time. I was just doing stuff.
I was just doing stuff.
I was just doing stuff. A lot of my nail tech friends always told me that they could see me being a manager because I told you I did like a lot of admin work.
Right.
So me knowing the background of how to do business and then me doing nails, it just kind of went hand in hand. During COVID, I was mobile, so I kind of had to do my own thing to still make money, and I didn't have no other job. It was hard to get another job during COVID.
Right.
When I found this place, it was like almost 80% already built out. They just needed somebody to put it in the place.
Okay.
So I knew I was an independent nail tech. I did not know that I was a business owner. I just came in here and started doing stuff. So I started filling out the papers. I started doing the whole process, and the next thing you know, she gave me the keys, and I was like, "Oh,
this is real."
I really got to be in here. So, literally, one day turned into the next day. The first time I was here, I signed a year's lease because I did not think that I was going to be here for a year. I gave myself 6 months to figure it out. I'm like, I got a budget for 6 months. My co-founder, she helped me get that budget, and I'm like, I have a budget for 6 months. I'm signing this lease for a year. We're gonna figure it out. And so that's essentially just how I just kept going.
Yeah. And I want to just touch on what you just said a second ago. You knew that you were an independent nail tech, but you didn't know that you were a business owner. And I think in the game of entrepreneur, like there's a real distinction between the two. And it's like, I know I can do this, but it becomes different when you have essentially like a brick and mortar. You have a business, a doors that you physically can open. And it becomes a different element that people may not really fully understand. So I'm glad that you pointed that out. So with that, what would you say is, I know what your process was, but how would you describe the process and the feelings and emotions turning that vision into a real business?
It's bittersweet because like in your mind, you want to do something, but when you actually start doing it, you're like, oh, like everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Like it literally takes you on a roller coaster because like the visions that you had, you actually doing it and you can see it coming. Before I even opened this place, I literally wrote in my journal what I wanted my future nail salon to look like before this place was even on the market. So when I'm seeing it, like I said, it's bittersweet because now we were just talking about it. It's like having a baby. Like you're like, okay, like, yeah, I want a baby. Baby gonna be cute. And then when the baby get here, you're like, oh shit, I gotta take care of this baby. I gotta feed this baby. Let me tell you, when I first opened this space, maybe like the first week, I was on my way back home. I didn't live out here, so I didn't live close to home. And I was driving. I'm like, did I lock them doors? Like, did I lock the doors? I felt like a first-time mom. Because I'm like, did I lock the doors? Did I turn the signs off? Like, did I pay the right bill? Did I sign the right anything? So it literally felt like I was a first-time mom opening a business. Because again, like when you're taking care of yourself, you think you're grown. I'm independent. Like my bills is paid. Yeah. But then when you get a kid, it's a whole different ballgame. You're like, now I'm responsible for something. Yeah. And so having a brick and mortar makes you that much more responsible. And then especially for the people that come in here, I feel like I'm responsible for them too, whether they nail techs or people that have events or my clients. I feel like I'm responsible for making them feel a kind of way, Absolutely. So it's a lot.
Making sure everybody around you is taken care of, as well as the business itself. And that can definitely get heavy and overwhelming at times. With that, what would you say are some of the biggest obstacles you face starting the shop?
Just having the support really, because it's your vision essentially, Right. So nobody really, they can only help so much. It's really your vision to see through. So having a team of people that believe in you without the money coming in, that's the hardest part, whether you in the beauty industry or any other industry. When you starting up a company and people don't actually see the money, they like, okay, I can help you, but I still got to go to my 9 to 5 after this. You move me, I could be there for 2 hours, like what you need. And then them just not really doing what it is because it's your vision. Yeah. So in the beginning, just having enough people, I had the people to support me to be like, yeah, we'll promote it. And that does great. But actually being in here, it was just me for like a solid month. I was just sitting here like, all right, y'all, where everybody at? So just having a solid team in the back, that was the biggest obstacle, I think.
And so when did you start to acquire that team or experience having that support?
Maybe about a year into, but it's forever changing. The beauty industry, it's a revolving door. So me and my cousin, she really been holding it down for me. As far as like the teamwork goes, like doing a lot of the back end stuff that I thought I could do by myself. Until it started, like you said, really weighing heavy on me. So it took about a year to really get that team solidified. And then it's like a lot of trial and errors. You got to see who fits, who fit the energy and all that. It's a lot of trial
for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. Yeah,
that makes sense because you want your whole workspace, especially your own business, to be cohesive.
Yeah, exactly.
Any contradictory situations or any type of conflict. So I can understand why that would be a little bit stressful and overwhelming at times. What would you say sets your shop? Excuse me. What would you say sets your shop apart from others?
We're intimate in here. It's real small in here, and so a lot of people when they come in, they think they're going to see this huge nail salon with a lot of chairs. They think they're going to see foreign people in here not speaking English until they see me, and they're like, "Oh, you black and you speak English?" And it's small in here, and we're like full service nail salon, and so a lot of times when people come in, they really surprised that we're small and intimate, and we literally cater to our clients that way, and like kind of like your own home, like in your own living room.
Absolutely.
That's what we feel like. It's really unique and different. And then the type of stuff that we do in here. So not only do we do nails in here, but we shoot stuff like this. We've done music videos, we've done spa parties, we've done we've done so many different events in here. I feel like it's my duty as a Black owned business to allow other Black owned businesses to come here and utilize the space as well. So besides us doing nails, all the other stuff we do makes us unique.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of collaborations. I've watched you grow over the years. There's commercial shot in here, right? A couple
commercials, yeah.
And like you said, just the collaboration events and different things like that. I know me and you had talked about a couple different events that we put together. So I actually really love that about you, that you keep an open mind when it comes to it, because you're not just closing yourself off to the industry. You're like, you know what? I have this space. Let's make the most of it, right? And that makes a huge difference when it comes to not just your industry, but just the industry of creatives in general, especially in the Bay Area. This is a big market. So I'm glad that you're in that path, and I'm glad that that's what you're doing. Now, before we dive deeper, because I do want to talk about these events and collaborations, like we're going to get into that. But I'm curious if you had a moment where you thought this stuff might not work out.
Yeah, definitely. Every other day.
Every other day.
Yeah. I feel like every other day, like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? What is my purpose? Because it changes so much, and the people change, the trends change, society changes. So every other day, I feel like, am I doing the right thing? But like I said in the beginning, you really just have to keep going to find out. So although I still have these doubts, I still wake up and like, what am I gonna do if I'm not here? I will have to hurry up and find another job, or essentially like another form of income. I don't feel like doing all of that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go to the shop, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna figure it out. And 5 years later, I've just been figuring it out.
Speaking of 5 years later, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Yesterday you had your 5-year anniversary.
Thank you.
Here. So again, I just want to congratulate you, because that is not a small feat. That's not a small accomplishment for a business owner alone, a Black business owner, a Black woman business owner, in an industry that's really kind of taken by, other ethnicities, right? You came in, you made your mark, you opened your shop, and you've been here for 5 solid years. Yeah. So we got to definitely commend you for that. Give you your flowers while you're still here.
Thank you.
Because that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. In these 5 years, what lessons did you learn about business that no one told you beforehand?
To read the fine print. They always say that, like when you're doing contracts, like, oh, read the fine print. And you think like, ain't nobody gonna mess me over. And not to say that anybody messed me over, but I feel like things definitely could have went in my favor as a business owner had I read the fine print and been patient. A lot of the times you really trying to get the business, you're trying to get the money, you're trying to get some money in, and whatever works, and whatever don't, you're like, oh, I'll scrap it later. But patience and really taking your time to read the fine print, or in any type of contract, like it really benefits you in the long run. I feel like I could have solidified a lot more contracts, made a lot more money had I been patient with myself and just really took the time to read all the fine prints. Yeah, especially as a business owner.
They like to throw them little nuances in there that you kind of overlook. And not that you didn't think anybody would screw you over, but you also, I think you could say, you give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and you just think like, okay, we're here to do business. It's going to work for everybody. But there's always like one thing that you're just like, damn, I wish I would have did this different had you read it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I definitely feel that. Okay. Now, how has your personal life influenced your journey as a business owner?
That's a good question. I feel like I have collaborated the two. I feel like every part of my personal life is left in this shop because I'm here all the time. And I feel like this is what makes the shop unique, is because I bring my personal, my character into the shop. My clients like me because of me. I choose the nail techs that work in here because they align with my personal self. And I think I do a lot of Things that I do outside of my personal life, I feel like I just incorporated inside of the salon as well.
That makes sense. Now, with that, is there any of those personal things, personal challenges, or life situations that affected your business along the way, maybe positively or negatively?
Yes, I feel like the bottom line is always money. Because also like just being an independent, like a business owner and not having anything to back me up, a lot of the times I think that the money that I make inside of the shop is for the shop, and until I go out and start spending it, and I'm like, dang, now I got to go back to work and start making it again. Like, like, so I think that is something that's really big. My personal like friendships, you would think like, oh, like, I got a lot of friends, I got a lot of family, they would come and they support me. A lot of times those same people don't actually come into the shop, so I have to go out sourcing new clients. So sometimes I feel a kind of way outside of the salon dealing with that. But some pros of it is that I get to really live my life the way that I want to, because I can open and close these doors whenever I want. Like I got my own key,
Yeah.
So the pros are that is just that I can live my personal life in a time where now I have a son, so I could spend as much time as I want, and I could work when I want, how I want. So those are always the benefits of being an entrepreneur.
Nice. And so, like, would you say that it's been easy or kind of difficult balancing being a business owner with your personal life now, being that they kind of converge in one?
There's always pros and cons. It's just like finding the right flow. I think every year has been different for me. Not one year in my 5 years being here has been the same. There's always something changing,
Gotcha.
whether that's in my personal life or the business. There's always something changing. So there's always ups and downs to both. I'll just be riding the wave.
And riding the wave. As it comes and it goes.
I'll just be riding the wave.
Okay, so as you're riding the wave, obviously it comes with ups and downs, right? Good times, tough times.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you motivated during those tough times?
Just knowing that I'm needed. I feel like that keeps me motivated.
I like that.
The money keeps you motivated because you need that.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
Because sometimes I do be ready to give up. And, I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more. My clients be like, hello, where you at? Are you coming in the shop today? Like, you took too many days off. Like, where you at? I'm like, dang, my clients, the community needs me. And then every time I think that, okay, I want to do something else, let me close these doors. Then I'll get booked for like a huge ass event or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll get another contract. And I'm like, there's still purpose in it. Although I am tired, what keeps me motivated is knowing that I'm still needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And I think that there's a benefit, like in the grand scheme of things, you're tired for all the right reasons.
Yes, bittersweet.
And
yes.
It's like, it's a blessing that's a good problem to have. I'm tired because I'm running my own business. I'm tired because I make my own schedule.
Exactly.
And so it's one of those things that you kind of have to give yourself grace on. Like,
yes.
I'm going through it right now, but it could be worse. I could be working a 9 to 5 where they control my time off.
That's exactly what I'll be thinking. And then, as I get older, I realize representation matters. There's a lot of younger girls that would like to be in my position. So like you said, like I'm tired for all the right reasons, but they got to see the good and the bad. But I would prefer them to see me really in here in a better light than bad. So what keeps me motivated is just knowing that, okay, there's a younger girl that want to be in my position. Let me show up for her in the best capacity that I can, her Absolutely. Or him in the best capacity that I can.
Okay, I love that, because that influence means a lot. That inspiration means a lot, especially for the younger generation, guiding them in the right direction. And so having those different events, those collaborations goes a long way.
Yeah.
And so speaking of events and collaborations, you've had a lot.
Yeah.
You've collaborated with some cool people. You've had a lot of things going on in and out of the shop.
Yes.
Can you tell us about some that stand out to you that you've experienced?
Yes. In the very beginning, shout out Daryl Reed, Lil D. He was the very first person. I had a men's night, an event, what we call men's night in here. He came, I don't remember how I found him. I was like, hey, come get your nails done. Really, I just looking for people to get their nails done. He came, he was like, I want to do a video. And I didn't know who Daryl Reed was in the beginning. So he came with me and my cousin. He was like, oh, I want to shoot a video with y'all. When I tell y'all that little 2-second video shot off, I mean, I had people calling left and right, like, oh, you open? You black? You're a salon? Like, where you at? Like, that really stood out to me, because he did not have to do that. He did not have to use his platform. But he felt comfortable enough, and he trusted this place enough off one visit that he was like, I need to promote y'all. It's not because, y'all, just because you're black and I'm black, but he's like, I trust the vision in this shop, and I want to support y'all. So that really stood out to me in the beginning.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there any other collaboration that stood out to you as well?
yeah, this last commercial that we shot, y'all. Listen, and it's award winning. So yeah, it is.
Commercial.
It is
That's
award
right. It
winning.
did
So
win an
cheers up
award.
to that.
Congratulations.
I basically just had an idea. Shout out Tajiana and Lauren. Those are my producers and director.
Absolutely.
And
They
I was
did
like,
amazing.
y'all, this will be so fun. And I'm thinking we're gonna shoot it on the iPhone, right? I'm like, this would be so fun. When did we do this? When I tell you that whole production just took off beyond what I really thought.
It was a real production.
It was a real production from start to finish. They color graded everything. Like, professional, everybody that came from Stunnerman, Tyler May. We had the Turf Fiends in there. And they literally captured a tiny part of what I had thought that we were going to do in this commercial. If you're looking for it, it's YouTube on the website. It's on our social medias, all of our social medias. It's about 1minute and 11 seconds long. If you got the time, go watch it. But yeah, they basically took my little tiny ass idea and shot off with it. And it was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That was a good day. Shout out to Viz by G, by the way, because he has some dope camera work. I love the way that he put that whole thing together. From the color grading, the editing, and all that stuff.
Everything about it.
But it was, like you said, you thought it was going to be some iPhone stuff. And even myself, I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. Like, go shoot a commercial. I walk in and I'm just like, oh, no. You got actors in here. You got extras. You got a whole script. Like, this is a real production. So,
and like you said, Vids by G, like, they really did that. I'm forever grateful, like, forever in debt for them for doing that.
Absolutely. That was amazing for myself to be a part of. So I'm glad that you brought that up. That's kind of what I wanted you to touch on, because that was a multi-location shoot. We started here, then we moved to a different spot, and just seeing how that whole thing came to light, and more so just the growth that you had to be able to get to that point.
From the first shot that we did.
The first thing that we did, like, we went across the street, shot some stuff in a little restaurant, but it was really amazing to see. It was amazing to see how everybody came together and collabed for your idea, and it wasn't about so much of anybody gaining anything personally from it. It was just about coming together and putting that vision together.
That was my goal.
Seeing that final product.
That was definitely my goal. Thank you.
Absolutely. And like you said, it won an award. So that's really dope. And I know you kind of touched on this already, but like, how important is networking and community in your industry? Can you elaborate on it a little bit more?
Yeah, your network is your net worth.
Say that again.
It's really all about who you know. Like, it sounds cliche because you hear people say it all the time, but it truly is your net worth. Like, a lot of my clients are the reason why I'm able to do a lot of the entrepreneurial things outside of the shop, like having contracts and having other mobile gigs outside of here, is because I know them and I built up a community within them. And so I feel like that's highly important. And then not only that, like, your community is the people that build you. When you're a small business and you're a brick and mortar, like, you have to build community. It's essential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it takes a village.
It takes a village. I mean, like we were talking about, inside and outside of the shop. It's been times I had to bring my son here and they be like, oh, don't worry about it. And I'm sweating. I'm sweating bullets. Like, they ain't never gonna come back. This boy crying and shit. Like, they're like, no, I get it. Like, it take a village. Like, they be like, you had me right for the whole 3 years. And now you have a kid. Like, your kid gonna be fine. You gonna be straight. We gonna be straight. And just off my personality alone and just having a community alone is like what really carried me through this 5 years.
And I think that shows that authenticity of you, right? It shows the real version of you, because it's like you have your kid walking around here, especially for the people who were here. Like, he was here this morning, right? And so just for the people who had been around from before you had a kid and seeing that growth in your personal life, and it's like, you said that they understand, like, hey, this your baby. You know what I'm saying? You brought your baby into your baby, right? Your business. And so you brought everything cohesive, like you said. And so it's like, for anybody to judge you on that would be absolutely wrong,
or I just don't need them. There's been times where I had to tell clients, like, this might not be for you. I get it. I have to tell people that's coming to work in here. I tell people all the time, come and look at the space before you even think that you're going to commit, because I want to make sure it's right for you. We don't need no bad energy flowing throughout this space, because I need this to work for my community. So if it just don't work, it just don't work. Like, if my kid in the way, I'm sorry,
but he ain't going nowhere.
This is what we got to do, though. You feel me?
Absolutely. And I think that's important, what you just said, especially, like, that's the message for all entrepreneurs to take, that some clients just aren't for you.
Thank you.
Some clients, and even some collaborations, some people that you work with, not everybody is for you. So it's like, you have to really take time to vet who you're working for, who you're working with, and all that, because a lot of times, and I can speak to this personally, entrepreneurs will jump into a situation or a type of business collaboration, and it's not what they thought it was going to be.
Not at all, moving too fast.
And it's like there's the excitement because, we can do this, we can do that. But then when you break it down and you get into it, it's like, this person doesn't have the work ethic, they don't have the understanding, they just don't we just don't resonate with each other.
Right.
And that's okay, right? It's just it just comes with the territories. So I know you had talked about what kind of collaborations, Lil Daryl, right? Lil Daryl Reed, he helped you grow the most. Is there any other notable collaboration that you had that you feel like helped your brand grow?
Definitely Sentimental too. He was the lead actor in the commercial. He's definitely helped my brand grow in the last year. Just off his motivation alone, like I felt like he helped me personally, whether he knows it or not, just being motivating alone. But also, his platform did a lot for us. We collaborated after the commercial, so we were able to grow a little bit from there. I have some. I've done so many different collabs in the past. I can't even begin to name. Begin to name everybody. But I appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. Now, what about any upcoming projects or events or collaborations? Is there anything that you have in the near future that you're excited about?
Actually, yes. I have been working with the youth a lot. So I've been doing a lot of outside contracts. I think I'm really ready to use my brand to expand on that. So whatever that looks like working with the youth, I would really love to do programs where they can come in and do not only nail related things, but business related things as well. There's a lot that they don't learn in school or that they can't learn in school or they don't have the access to that I want to be able to show them. And, just show them the same way that my mentor showed me, like, look, come on, like, let's go grab their hand and literally show them like, these are all the things that you can possibly do if you want to do it. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I don't have any like collaborators in mind just yet, but I'm always open to collaborating. Like mi casa, su casa, whatever you could think of, like we doing it.
Absolutely. No, and I know that firsthand that you're very open-minded when it comes to that.
Hell yeah.
You like to open up the creative bag and really try and see what we can make happen.
Exactly.
And so I love that.
What we doing?
You've opened this space up for myself and offered the space to me for other things as well. So that I definitely appreciate about yourself and about your business aspect, your business mind. Let's take it back real quick because we've known each other for a while.
Yes.
When I first met you, you were modeling.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I know that you had touched on it.
I don't model.
Right. I know you touched on it briefly and like how you got into it, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this was before we started rolling the cameras or after, but before you kind of focused on nails, that was something that you were doing. How did that experience kind of shape your perspective on beauty and branding?
That's a really good question. Like I was saying earlier, like representation matters. And so when I got into the nail industry, I realized there was a lack of representation for nails in general, but then there was also a lack of Black girls in the nail industry. So me modeling was really on accident. It was really just because somebody asked me, yeah, sure, I ain't doing nothing, I'll do it. But then I seen that there was a need for both. And so I just again, don't ask me one or the other because I'm gonna end up doing both. I ended up just doing both. So all the shoots that I do when I am modeling for myself is literally me showcasing both nails and modeling at the same time.
Yeah, and that makes sense because one of the actual we did a shoot together, the Sprite commercial.
Yeah,
not commercial.
Yeah,
the Sprite shoot where you did your nails and the Sprite.
Yes, that also went up a little bit. Shout out Sprite because that also went up a little bit.
Yeah, Sprite gave us some attention on that as well.
Yeah, they did, and that's just me again, like seeing something that was missing. I'm like, oh well, they shoot like accessories and nails all the time, and that was also kind of like the reason why I did the commercial because I'm like nobody ever thinks to talk anything about doing nails, and not that it needs to be this whole big old thing, but I'm like it's just a missing part of the market. Like we see lipstick commercials all the time, we see hair and lashes, we see this stuff all the time, but we always missing that little nail aspect. But that's Sprite commercial. Yeah, I mean the photo shoot that was definitely just like me just thinking like, oh, it's the season.
Yeah,
I ain't seen no commercials for it yet. We might as well jump on it. And I think you was probably the first person I thought was like, yeah, you creative. Like, let's jump on this.
And that was fun.
It was fun.
Like you had the whole, we got the little water effects on the can.
Yeah, we had to get creative as hell.
Really creative, really creative. And that kind of like opened my mind up too. Like there's so much more that I could be doing when it comes to this camera stuff and creativity. So I appreciate you for that because that was just a dope little experience. And we got to hang out, take your time. You had your son with you that time too. So it just speaks volumes of like, you're not letting your personal stuff and whatever obstacles, so to speak, hinder your process of growth when it comes to business.
Right.
And so I have to commend you on that.
Thank you.
Now, I know that you're not a model per se, but you utilize it as far as advertising. Do you think that helps you build your personal brand and business at the same time?
Definitely. When I first started doing nails, I think I'm like pretty reserved usually. So modeling like really forced me to get out of my comfort zone and out of my own way. Cause sitting behind the table, like of course, what color you want, how you want your nails. I don't really have to talk that much, but modeling is like people see you more often and they see you in a whole different light. So when a lot of my regular clients started to see that side of me, they were actually bringing like more out of me in these conversations when they started seeing me modeling more often. And then just working with my main photographer, Kyle or IC Brails, like he pulled a lot out of me. Like you need to get out of your own comfort zone. Like you need to, showcase yourself even more. And I feel like that took me on a whole different path, maybe like year 2 or year 3 since I've been here, where now I'm in front of the camera opposed to behind the camera when I was doing digital art and behind the table when I'm doing nails. Like now I'm in front of the camera. I actually got to talk.
Yeah, now it's a whole different element.
It is.
And shout out to your photographer. I've been following him for a while. I like his work.
He's
I like
dope.
the way that he has his own creative style as well.
He definitely does. He definitely pulls a rabbit out of a hat every time.
That's dope. And that's exactly what you need, because now you guys can bounce those creative ideas off each other, and it expands everything that you can do.
Exactly.
So I love that. It kind of just like how you said with the commercial, where you had this small idea, you got with the right people and they expanded on it and made it something completely bigger than what you expected. Now, with modeling, is there things that you learned in that aspect that you still apply today as far as your business or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I think just being more outgoing and being more open to like change. Like, because when you're modeling, when you're new to modeling, you're a little stiff. You're not knowing what you look like behind the camera. You're a little like more reserved, especially if you don't have no experience.
Yeah.
So like modeling kind of pulled out of me how to be more outgoing. And so now when I do go to places, I'm more open about like, yeah, I'm a nail tech, because like I done got comfortable with myself. So yes, it definitely taught me something I did not know I needed to learn.
Okay, I like that. So that's all the modeling aspect. That's pretty much how I met you. Now, since then, we worked together on a few projects.
Yes.
Obviously, like we talked about the first commercial that I shot.
Yes. That was fun too.
I was about to say, what was that experience like from your perspective? Because I know you were fresh opening the shop.
Yes.
That was the first time you were kind of doing a commercial. Tell me a little bit about that and how you felt in that moment.
That was really like, again, me just having this idea, like I'm always thinking like, wouldn't it be fun if we did? And then I'll just be asking questions. And I don't even remember how I found you again to ask you, but I was just like, I know you know what you're doing behind the camera, and I know that you have a creative mind. And a lot of times I find people that can take my vision but do their own spin to it. Yeah. So I'm like, although I do have these people, I have a vision, like don't ask me no questions, because you behind the camera. So take your spin to it and see however it is gonna look from your perspective and run with that. So literally it was, I think even the actors, the behind the scenes, I literally just told them, be you, be natural, like do whatever comes to mind for you. That's how we're going to resonate with the type of audience that I want, is if you being natural and doing whatever works for you. This is the idea, and y'all do you after that.
Yeah, no, and I honestly, I feel like
you delivered.
You told me that specifically. Like
I don't know.
You in control. Like, literally, like, I don't know. Don't ask me nothing. Just do your thing. You the cameraman. I was like, okay, I can respect that, because especially being behind the camera and in that creative sense as well, sometimes you run into people who are like really down to the T, like I want this, that, and that, which is not a problem. But when you work with somebody who allows you that creative space in the same mind frame of getting their vision out, it adds a certain level of comfort. It adds a certain level of excitement to the project as well.
It does, and it makes things flow a lot easier. I think you were able to capture exactly what I needed, and it was able to flow like a lot easier than I ever imagined.
Good. I'm glad I was able to do that for you. I'm glad that's where kind of how we started connecting in that sense of things, because things were really it went off. It was fun. It was a fun experience. I think that was actually the first commercial I shot in general.
Oh wow!
So I appreciate that opportunity. Now with the different commercials and things that you do, what really gives you that inspiration, especially like with your Super Bowl commercial? What inspired that campaign? Like, what really brought that idea? Was it just kind of another random thought and you're just like...
I think so. What was I even thinking? I knew that at that time, the Bay Area, we had All-Star Weekend, and then I knew the following year we had the Super Bowl, and then I know this upcoming year we have the Olympics. Although it's not in the Bay Area, it's still California based.
Absolutely.
And then I was just how did I even get to this train of thought? I think I was like, one of these days, one of my clients was like, I broke a nail doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, dang, y'all always doing something, breaking nails, like doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing. And so I'm just like, we need to be able to, like, how can I show or highlight all the wrong things that you're doing?
Yeah.
And so just, I've like, after a couple of, whatever thought, however that thought process went, I was like, I need to be able to shoot this all together at one time. So wouldn't it be funny if I had a referee like blowing a whistle every time this girl thought she was going to do something after a fresh set?
Ooh.
But mind you, like I said, I thought we were shooting on the iPhone. So I'm thinking we're doing like a story, like, an Instagram story, a little TikTok, a little reel or something. And it just ended up being that big of a production.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
That's really dope. And again, shout out to her. Y'all make sure you go watch that commercial.
It's funny
because
too.
It's absolutely funny. And Stunning Man brought his own vibe, his own positivity, his own excitement in the room. And I think he just kind of lit up the room himself with his personality. How did you get in contact? How did you make that connection? Was that somebody that you already knew? How did you bring him into the room for that?
No, actually, because again, so I let my director and my producer have full creative control. I had the idea. The rest is up to y'all.
Nice.
I actually had somebody else in mind who turned it down, and I was like, you know what? If this is not in alignment with you, I get it. I thought it was a relatively simple role. You just got to blow the whistle and say a couple of things. But if this is not in alignment, I totally get it. I was ready to scrap the whole idea. And I think my director, Lauren, actually knew Stunning Man. And so she was just like, well, I got somebody else. Like, if he's free, like, let's just shoot it. And he was just like, hell yeah, I'm down. And so that's pretty much how we went about that. And I think he came in like the last minute, maybe like the last 2 weeks, and was just like, where's the script at? That's all I got to do. And the rest was history. And like literally we went in the second location and just told everybody act natural. And that's just kind of what he did.
Yeah. And that went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
It was fun. Got a lot of bloopers out of it.
Yeah, a lot of behind the scenes.
But it was definitely enjoyable. And so like that was like the whole storytelling process, right? And obviously mixed in with marketing. How important would you say is the storytelling and marketing for your business?
It's very important, especially for the reasons why I wanted to do this commercial. So a lot of the times my producer and my director, they will be like, well, we're going to start off at the shop. We got to have the sign. We got to have making sure everybody looks like they're having fun at the shop. I'm like, I'm really doing this for y'all. Like you guys being a community and shooting inside of my shop means way more to me than telling a story about people getting their nails done. I want people to realize that we're family oriented in here, inside and outside of the shop. So everybody that was part of that commercial, I really did it just so that they can highlight whatever it is that they do, whether they were behind the scenes, whether they were the director, the dancers, even like this is I want y'all to highlight y'all. That community is what's going to carry over into the studio regardless.
Absolutely. I love that perspective because it brings everything all together.
So to answer your question, the story was more important than the marketing for me at that time.
I like that because it shows the selflessness.
Yeah, it was going to carry on regardless. People going to always mention like, oh, this is who shot it. But I really wanted to highlight everybody else that was a part of it.
Yeah, and I think that's important, especially in the Bay Area, especially the way that things go with the different industries out here. And it's one of those things where people can often say that there's a crab in a barrel type mentality. I hear that a lot. And just kind of Northern California in general. So the fact that you are taking your industry, you're taking your space, you're taking your creativity, and you're utilizing it to highlight other people as opposed to being focused on yourself, that speaks volumes of the type of person that you are.
Thank you.
So that's really dope. Now, you've been in this industry for 5 years now, right?
Well, I've had the salon for 5 years. I've been in the industry for 10.
Oh, fair enough. I apologize. So you've been in the industry for 10, you've been in the salon for 5 years. So looking back, somebody that wants to get started in the nail industry, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't box yourself in. There's so much to learn and there's so many things you can do, but it does take time. I don't think that I actually was sure of myself or this business until I got to the business. The first 5 years before opening, I feel like I was just doing a hobby or doing a task. Okay. I don't think I was actually good at doing nails, marketing, talking to people until about 5 years in. That stuff takes time, but also you don't want to box yourself into one category. You want to be able to explore all the things and then go back in and narrow in like this, okay, this works for me. This is what I really want to do and focus on your time on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, would you say that there's a different piece of advice that you would give to women who want to start their own business specifically? or just kind of the same aspect?
I feel like it's all the same. If you have the time and the patience to learn how to run a business, whatever kind of business that is, it's not gender specific.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of touched on this before, but looking back with everything that you know now, again, what do you wish that you knew personally when you first started? Or if you can go back and tell your younger version of yourself getting into this industry, what's a piece of advice or motivation to give?
I always say patience. I knew like when I was younger, like I didn't have too much patience. I wanted things to be done like fast. I wanted to just be like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
But starting a business, you have to have patience. Had I not, I would not be here the whole 5 years because I would have done 1 year and be like, all right, that's enough. Like I'm not making as much as I would like to. I don't have as much clients as I want. It's not booming enough for me. But owning a business has taught me so much patience and gratitude. Like you got to be grateful for the things that come in through your door before they even get to your door.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you have to be humble in this industry or any other industry for that matter, because just as fast as you get it, it can be taken away, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, being patient with myself.
Okay, and so also at the same time of looking back, what does success mean to you today compared to when you first began?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I think I had this conversation with myself a couple weeks ago. Because a lot of the times you think success comes from money, and although you do need money to have a lot, time is just as valuable as money. So if I'm not paid for my time, or if my time is taken advantage of, I feel more hurt about that than if I'm not getting paid. It's been times where I've done nail sets off for free because I know that I could do it in a certain amount of time, and we could market. The money is gonna come regardless. But if I'm doing a free set and we're not getting anything beneficial out of it, and I feel like I wasted my time, I feel unsuccessful. If I feel like I just came in here and one day just decided to give up, I wasted 5 years, I'm unsuccessful after that. Like, why would I do that to myself? So time and the time that I get to spend inside the shop and with my son and doing the things that I like to do outside of the shop is way more successful than any amount of money that I'm making right now.
That's an underrated luxury. It's having all of
Underrated.
those being put together, and and it kind of goes hand in hand with success. And people have their different definitions of being rich.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think with everything that you just said, you're very rich, right?
Yeah, I thought I wanted to be popular. I thought I wanted everybody to come in here and know my name, and I wanted to be on like everybody's cover of whatever. It's like, you know what? No, I just want extra time. I just want a little time to myself. That's literally it.
And that little extra time goes a very long way
Shit.
because it helps recharge your batteries, gives you mental clarity.
Tell me about it.
And like I said, recharge your battery just so you have that motivation, that focus to jump back into whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so let's talk about, you just had your 5 years, right?
Yeah.
5-year anniversary in the shop, I should say. What's next for your brand? What's the next 5 years going to look like? What's your outlook on this Live in Color studio?
I want this place to be able to run itself. And I would like to go out and, like I said, just educate the youth and be able to hold their hand and walk other people through their journey. I feel like that's really where I'm at right now, is beauty education and entrepreneurship education. And I want people to be able to come in here and run a space for me, whether that's nail techs or special events, or I want the community to be able to use this space for them and take over. And I would like to go out and start doing education. That's probably where I'm going to be in the next year.
I like that. Yeah. I love that outlook. And you said within the next year?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And you got a nice little time frame. I said 5 years. You said forget 5 years. We moving right now.
In the next 5 years, I think I would like to be spending my time with my son.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's dope. That's dope. Okay, so now as we start to get ready to wrap up, right? Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, of course.
Shoot.
If someone walks into your salon for the first time, what experience do you hope that they leave with? What do you want them to gather from being in this space?
I want them to feel like this their grandma's living room they just walked into.
Okay.
When they come in, I say hi. And I'll be looking, you gonna say hi back? Like somebody auntie, I want them to feel welcome. I want them to feel comfortable from the music, from the intimacy of it all, how small we are, from the conversations we be having up in here.
Right.
I want them to feel like they just walked into their favorite auntie house, and I want them to leave out feeling like, you know what, I can go tackle whatever it is that day or the rest of the week or the year looks like, because I felt good leaving out of this family environment. That's what I want people to come in and leave feeling like.
Nice. And do you feel like with that, from your experience these past 5 years, is that you're giving that vibe, and that's what people are living with?
I think so. I've had a lot of my clients are family now, and so I like to think so.
That's really dope. That's really dope. Okay, so let people know where they can find you, not just on social media, but also physically.
Physically, I'm here 24/7, Monday through Saturday, 10 to whatever time I feel like leaving. I'm usually at Live in Color Studio, but you can follow me on social media. All of the platforms are Live in Color Studio, or my personal page is flygirl.risha. That's where you can find a lot more of my personal life. But for the most part, I'm here. You can catch me here 24/7.
And you're based in, what city are we based in?
I'm sorry, we're in Castro Valley, California. We're in the middle of the Bay Area, so please don't talk about some. It's gonna be hard to find you. It's not hard. Just come looking and we're going to be here.
And you can really even just get on Apple Maps.
And we're going to be here.
Live in Color, and that's exactly how I got my directions to get here today. So I knew exactly where I was going.
We're going to be here.
So I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for this this opportunity again, allowing us to come into your space and ask you these questions. This has been another episode of Discussions with Dubb. These conversations are about learning from each other's journey, right? The highs, the lows, and like I said before, everything in between. So I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate everybody who's watching this for tuning in. And until the next discussion, because I definitely want to revisit this.
Yeah,
right?
We got to.
I definitely want to revisit this. So until then, I want you to keep building, keep growing, keep pushing forward, keep accomplishing everything you're accomplishing, because we see you and I'm proud of you, and everything that you're doing is dope. So that's been another episode of Discussion with Dubb.
Thank you.
New numbers, new area codes, new winters and new summers. More expansion, just think about it and make me wonder. Knocking on the beat like a relapse, I feel it coming. Regular programming on schedule with the vibe. Infatuated with multiple ways of progressing.